Tyler sat on the edge of his bed, holding the envelope in both hands. His fingers trembled. This was it, the letter he had been waiting for since last year. The big college in New York. His dream? He looked around his small room. Posters on the wall, a broken lamp on the desk, and a suitcase already half. Tyler smiled. Mom is going to be so proud, he whispered. The sun was shining outside. Birds chirped in the tree near his window. It felt like the perfect morning. He took a deep breath and opened the envelope. Dear Tyler Miller, began. We are pleased to offer you a full scholarship. He didn't need to read the rest. He stood up, shouting, yes, yes. His eyes filled with tears, but he didn't care. This was the moment he had worked so hard for. Late nights, part-time jobs, tutoring younger kids, studying even when tired. Everything was worth it. He ran down the narrow hallway to the kitchen. Mom, Mom, he called out, waving the letter in the air, but there was no answer. The kitchen was quiet, too quiet. Mom. He called again, slower this time than a sound. A soft crash, like something heavy had fallen. It came from the living room. Tyler rushed and Anne froze. His mother, Maria, was on the floor. One hand was gripping the couch, the other was on her chest. Her face was pale, her lips dry. Mom, he cried, kneeling beside her. What happened? Are you okay? She tried to smile. I'm fine, just got dizzy for a second. Tyler helped her up gently. She sat on the couch, breathing hard. I'm fine, she repeated, brushing her hair back. Just didn't eat yet, that's all. Tyler didn't believe her. Her hands were shaking. I'm calling a doctor. No, she said quickly. No doctors. I'm okay, really. Tyler looked into her eyes. Something wasn't right. But she had that look again, the same one she gave when the rent was late or the power went out. That look that said, don't worry, I can handle this. But this wasn't rent. This was her health. He sat beside her, hiding the letter behind his back. Did this happen before? She smiled again, weaker this time. It's nothing, sweetheart. Tyler forced a smile back. Okay? But promise you'll rest. I promise. They sat together for a moment. The letter was burning in his hands, but he didn't show it. He wanted to tell her. He wanted to shout, I got in. But something inside told him, not now, not yet. Later that day, Tyler made her favorite soup. He helped her to bed early. She said she was tired. But when he walked past her room at midnight, her eyes were still open. Staring at the ceiling. The next morning, she acted normal. Too normal. She laughed, cleaned, even danced a little in the kitchen. See, she said, all better. But Tyler kept watching her closely. That night, when she was asleep, Tyler walked into her room. He didn't want to invade her privacy, but worry pushed him. He opened the drawer in her bedside table, slowly. Bills, old photos, medicine bottles. Then he found a folder. Inside were papers, hospital papers, test results, doctor notes. Words he didn't understand at first, but then he saw it. Stage 2 treatment recommended. Patient declined further testing due to cost. His throat tightened. His mother was sick, really sick, and she had said nothing. Tyler sat down on the floor. The letter was still in his pocket, the one from the college. But now, it felt heavy. His heart was full of questions. Why didn't she tell him? How long had she been hiding this? And most of all, what was he supposed to do now? He stayed there for a long time, just staring at the papers. In that moment, the college dream, the campus, the city lights, the classrooms, the future, it all started to fade like a distant picture. The next day, Tyler smiled again. He served his mom breakfast in bed. He made silly jokes. He acted like everything was normal, and he didn't mention the scholarship. Not yet, because something deep inside him had already started to shift. Something told him life was about to change. Forever. Tyler woke up early. The sun had not fully risen yet, but he had barely slept. His eyes burned, not just from lack of sleep, but from holding back tears all night. The folder was still under his bed, hidden where his mother wouldn't find it. He couldn't stop thinking about the words written on those papers. Stage 2, treatment declined. He had questions, but more than that, he had fear. He walked into the kitchen and started making breakfast like usual. His mom entered a few minutes later, smiling as if nothing had happened. Morning, sweetheart, she said, her voice soft. You're up early. Just hungry, he replied with a fake grin. He placed toast and eggs on the table, then quietly watched her eat. Her hand trembled slightly as she lifted the fork, but she tried to hide it. Tyler noticed everything. He sat with her, asking small questions, nothing serious, but inside he was screaming. He wanted to ask her why she didn't tell him, why she was pretending everything was okay when it clearly wasn't, but he stayed quiet. After breakfast, his mom sat on the couch, watching TV. Tyler cleaned the kitchen quickly and went back to his room. He took out the folder again. He read the doctor's name, the hospital address, the dates. It wasn't new. Some of the reports were from 3 months ago. She had known for a while. That hurt more than anything. She had been suffering in silence. While he talked about dorms and classes and college dreams, he felt selfish. That afternoon, Tyler went to the small corner store. He bought groceries, a few of her favorite snacks, and came back home. He had made a decision. He would not go to college. Not now. Maybe not ever. He opened his laptop and typed an email to the admissions office. He didn't go into detail, just wrote that he couldn't accept the scholarship at this time. His hand shook as he clicked send. It felt like he was killing a part of himself, but he knew he had to do it. His mother needed him. That evening she noticed something. "Aren't you packing?" she asked while folding laundry. "You're supposed to leave in a week, right?" Tyler paused, then gave her a small smile. "I changed my mind." "What? Why?" she asked, surprised. "This was your dream, Tyler." "Dreams can wait," he said. "You come first." She looked at him, eyes full of emotion. "Tyler, no. Don't give up your future for me." "I'm not giving up," he said gently. "I'm choosing what matters more right now." She tried to argue, but her voice cracked. Tears formed in her eyes. She turned away, wiping them quickly. Tyler moved closer, placing his hand on her shoulder. "I saw the papers, Mom." "I know." She froze. Silence filled the room. After a long pause, she finally spoke. "I didn't want you to worry. I thought maybe if I ignored it, it would go away. But it won't," Tyler said softly, "and I'm not letting you go through this alone." They sat together in silence for a while. The next few days changed everything. Tyler took charge. He made doctor's appointments. He looked up support groups. He read everything he could about her illness. He even found free clinics in the area. He also started working part-time at a local bookstore. The pay was small, but it helped. His mom began treatment slowly. It wasn't easy. Some days were really bad. She felt weak. She cried sometimes when she thought Tyler wasn't looking, but he was always there, making her tea, sitting by her side, making her laugh when the pain got too much. Every day, Tyler missed college. A little less, he found new strength in being there for his mom. He discovered patience, love, and a side of himself he didn't know existed. One day, while cleaning the living room, he found an old photo album. Pictures of his mom when she was younger, her graduation, her first job. Pictures of her and his dad before he left. He flipped through the pages slowly, learning about her life before he came into the world. That night he asked her, "Do you miss him?" She looked at the photo in his hand, then said, "Sometimes. But people change." Why did he leave? Tyler had asked this question before, as a kid, but the answer had always been short. This time, she sighed and said, he couldn't handle responsibility. When things got hard, he ran. Tyler nodded, understanding her better now. She had been strong for so long, now it was his turn. A week later, while checking the mailbox, Tyler found a white envelope with no name on it, just their address. He opened it, confused. Inside was a letter. The handwriting was shaky but familiar. It was from someone he hadn't heard from in years. It simply read, "I know I failed you. I want to explain. Please call me." Dad. Tyler stared at the letter, his heart pounding. Why now? Why after all these years? He walked inside slowly, not sure whether to show it to his mom. He placed it in his drawer, unsure of what to do next. His mind was spinning. Life had already changed so much. Could he handle more? Could he trust his father again? He didn't have answers yet, but he knew one thing. Everything was just beginning. Tyler sat on his bed holding the letter tightly. His eyes moved over the words again and again. It didn't feel real. Years had passed without a single message, and now, out of nowhere, his father wanted to talk, wanted to explain. He thought about throwing the letter away. He thought about calling the number written at the bottom, but instead, he did nothing. He just kept reading it, as if the paper would somehow give him the answers he needed. Down the hall, his mother was coughing. It was a hard, painful sound. Tyler stood up quickly and rushed to her room. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, holding her chest. He helped her lie back and gave her water. She smiled at him weakly. "I'm okay," she whispered, but her eyes told a different story. Tyler sat beside her for a while, waiting until her breathing was normal again. Then he went back to his room and opened the drawer. The letter was still there, next to his old college papers and the folder with her medical reports. Everything he had left behind now sat in that drawer. That night, Tyler couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, thinking about everything. His mom, her sickness, his college dream. And now this letter from the man who had disappeared from their lives. Around 2 a.m., he got out of bed, picked up his phone, and stared at the number. He typed it into his contacts but didn't call. Not yet. The next morning, he decided to tell his mom. She was sitting at the table, eating toast slowly. Tyler sat across from her and placed the letter on the table. She looked at it for a moment. Her face changed. "Where did you get this?" she asked. "It came in the mail yesterday." She picked it up, reading it quickly. Then she placed it down and looked away. "I don't want you talking to him," she said quietly. Tyler stayed silent. "He left us, Tyler. He left when we needed him the most. I don't care what he has to say now." "I understand," Tyler said, "but don't I have the right to know why?" His mother's hands trembled. She wiped her eyes and stood up, taking her plate to the sink. Tyler didn't push. He let her have her silence. Later that day, he walked to the bookstore for his shift. As he stood behind the counter, scanning books and greeting customers, his mind wasn't on the job. It was on the man who used to carry him on his shoulders. The man who vanished when he was only 10 years old. After work, he sat on a bench outside and finally dialed the number. It rang twice, then a voice answered, "Hello?" Tyler's throat went dry. "It's me, Tyler." There was silence. Then the voice said, "Tyler, thank you for calling. I wasn't sure you would." "Why now?" Tyler asked, his voice cold. "Why after so many years?" The man on the phone sighed. "Because I found out about your mom. Someone told me she was sick. I had to reach out." "Who told you?" Tyler heard the sound of cars in the background, like the man was walking. "A woman named Mrs. Ray said she was helping you. Said you gave up college to take care of your mother." Tyler was surprised. He remembered Mrs. Ray, the kind woman from the clinic. He didn't know she had reached out to his father. "I made mistakes, Tyler," the man said. "Big ones. But I never stopped thinking about you." "You didn't stop long enough to write," Tyler replied. His voice was sharp. The man didn't answer for a few seconds. "You're right. I was scared. I was ashamed. But I want to fix things now, if you let me." Tyler didn't respond. He wasn't sure if forgiveness came that easily. "Can we meet?" the man asked. "One time, I just want to see you. Maybe explain in person." Tyler agreed, though every part of him felt unsure. They picked a small cafe near downtown for Saturday afternoon. He didn't tell his mother. He didn't want to upset her more. When the day came, Tyler wore simple clothes, nothing special. He walked to the cafe early and sat by the window. 10 minutes passed, then 20, then 30. Just as he was about to leave, a man walked in. Gray hair, tired eyes, nervous smile. Tyler recognized him, his father. He sat down slowly, hands shaking. "Hi," he said softly. "You've grown so much." Tyler said nothing, just stared. The man continued, "I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I was young and stupid. I left because I thought I'd ruin everything if I stayed. But leaving was worse. I see that now." Tyler looked at his hands. He remembered all the birthdays without him, all the nights his mother cried when she thought Tyler was asleep. "Why didn't you come back?" Tyler asked, "Even once." "Because every year I thought you'd hate me more. I didn't think I had the right." "Maybe you didn't," Tyler said quietly, "but she never stopped needing help, and I had to grow up fast." The man nodded, eyes full of regret. "I want to help now. I can help with her treatment. I can have money saved. I want to be part of this, if you'll let me." Tyler didn't answer right away. He didn't trust easily anymore, but a small part of him, a very small part, wanted to believe that people could change, that maybe his mom didn't have to fight alone anymore. That night, Tyler returned home. His mother was asleep on the couch. He covered her with a blanket and sat beside her. He looked at her tired face and whispered, "Something might be different now, Mom." He didn't know what would happen next, but something had shifted. The past had come knocking, and for the first time, Tyler didn't close the door. Tyler woke up the next morning feeling heavy inside. He had barely slept. The meeting with his father kept playing in his mind. Every word, every look, every moment. It didn't feel real. Part of him wanted to believe his father had changed. The other part still remembered the pain, the silence, the years without a single message. Downstairs, his mom was already awake. Sitting at the table with a cup of tea, she looked tired, more than usual. Tyler sat across from her and smiled gently. "How are you feeling?" he asked. "Better," she said, though her voice didn't sound strong. She touched his hand and added, "Thank you for everything, Tyler. I don't say it enough, but you've been my strength." Tyler felt a lump in his throat. He didn't say anything. He just squeezed her hand back. He wanted to tell her about the meeting, but he didn't know how. He didn't want to hurt her. Not now. That afternoon, Tyler went to the clinic with his mom. The doctor gave them some updates. The treatment was helping, but not fast enough. They needed better medicine, more tests, expensive ones. Tyler nodded slowly, his heart sinking. On the way home, he kept thinking about his father's offer: help with treatment, financial support, a second chance. That night, after his mom fell asleep, Tyler walked outside and sat on the porch. He called the number again. "Hello," his father answered quickly. "It's me," Tyler said. "I've thought about your offer, and I think we should talk more." His father sounded relieved. "Of course, anytime, I'm ready to help. There's a clinic she goes to. They need to run more tests, but I can't afford them," Tyler said. "Can you cover it?" "Yes," the man replied. "Send me the details. I'll handle it." Tyler hesitated. It felt strange depending on someone who had once left them, but this was about his mother. Her life mattered more than pride. The next day, the payment was made. The clinic called to confirm. His mom was confused but happy. "How did we afford this?" she asked. Tyler smiled and said, "A friend helped." She didn't ask more. She was too tired. Over the next week, her condition started to improve slowly. The new medicine helped her sleep better. Her coughing became less. She even smiled more often. Tyler felt a small spark of hope inside. One evening, his father called again. "How is she doing?" he asked. "Better," Tyler replied. "Thanks to you." There was silence. Then his father said, "I want to see her, just once. Can I come by?" Tyler didn't answer right away. He looked at his mother, sitting quietly by the window. She looked peaceful, but he remembered her warning. She didn't want to see him. "Not ever. I don't think she's ready," Tyler said. "I understand," his father replied. But if she changes her mind, I'll be here. After ending the call, Tyler felt something strange in his chest, a mix of sadness and something close to forgiveness. That night, he sat with his mom and told her everything. The letter, the meeting, the help, the truth. She listened without speaking. When he finished, she looked away. Her hands were shaking. You shouldn't have let him help, she said softly. We don't need him. We do, Tyler replied gently. Not forever, just right now. Tears filled her eyes. He hurt us, Tyler. He left me when I was scared and alone. I know, Tyler said, but I was scared too. And right now, I just want you to get better. She didn't speak for a long time. Then she said, okay, but I don't want to see him. Not yet, Tyler nodded. He understood. A few days later, Tyler received a letter in the mail. No envelope this time, just a folded note inside his jacket at work. He opened it and read, You are stronger than I ever was. I see it now. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but thank you for letting me help, Dad. Tyler folded the note and placed it in his wallet. He didn't know if he could ever forgive his father completely, but something had changed. The anger wasn't burning as strong. He was starting to let go. As days passed, his mom's health improved slowly. She started walking short distances. She laughed at old TV shows again. One evening, she even baked cookies for the first time in months. Tyler watched her, his heart full of quiet joy. It wasn't perfect, but it was better. One night, as they sat watching the stars, she spoke without looking at him. Do you think he really changed? Tyler looked at the sky. I don't know, but I think he's trying. She nodded. Maybe that's something. Tyler smiled. It was a rainy evening when the doorbell rang. Tyler was in the kitchen drying dishes, and his mother was resting on the couch with a warm blanket around her shoulders. The sound surprised both of them. It was rare for anyone to visit these days. Tyler wiped his hands quickly and went to the door. When he opened it, he saw a woman standing there with a kind face, a wet coat, and an umbrella in her hand. Hello, she said softly. I'm Mrs. Ray. I work with the community health program. May I come in for a moment? Tyler hesitated, then nodded. Something about her seemed calm and gentle. He led her inside and offered her a towel. She smiled. Thank you. I hope I'm not intruding. I came to check on your mother. At her name, Maria looked up from the couch. She seemed surprised but smiled politely. You came all this way in the rain. Mrs. Ray nodded. I've been following your case at the clinic. We were told your son gave up college to care for you. That's not something we see every day. Maria looked at Tyler, and her eyes softened. Mrs. Ray sat down and placed her bag on the floor. She reached inside and pulled out a small envelope. I have something for you, she said to Tyler. It was given to us by someone who's been trying to reach you. Tyler slowly took the envelope and stared at it. His name was written on the front in handwriting he didn't recognize. Who gave this to you? He asked. Your father? She said. He came to our office a few weeks ago asking for help. He told us he used to live here, said he had made mistakes. He wanted to reconnect. Maria's face turned cold. He found us through you. Mrs. Ray spoke gently. He didn't push. He just left this, in case you were willing to read it. Tyler nodded slowly, still holding the envelope tightly. Mrs. Ray stood up to leave. I just wanted to make sure you received it. You both deserve support. You're not alone in this. As she left, the house became quiet again. Tyler sat down at the table and opened the envelope carefully. Inside was a folded letter, longer than the one he had received before. He began to read silently. Dear Tyler, I'm writing this with a heart full of things I should have said long ago. I don't know how to make up for the years I lost, but I want to try. I know I hurt your mother deeply. I was young and afraid. I didn't know how to be a father or a man. I failed. I walked away from the two people I should have protected the most. Not a day goes by that I don't regret it. I thought staying away would make it easier for you to grow up without me ruining things, but I was wrong. My absence caused more pain. I've watched your life from far away. I never stopped asking about you. When I learned what you did giving up college to care for your mom, I broke down. You became the man I could never be. I'm proud of you, Tyler, and I want to be part of your life, if you'll let me. Even if it's just from a distance. Please know I'll never disappear again. Your father, James. Tyler finished the letter and placed it on the table. His hands were shaking slightly. His mother sat quietly across from him, watching him closely. What did it say? She asked. Tyler pushed the letter across the table to her. She picked it up and read it slowly. When she finished, her eyes were wet. He says the right words. Now, she whispered. But words are easy. It's actions that matter. He's helping, Tyler said softly. He's paying for your treatment. She looked at him. And what does he want in return? I don't know. Tyler replied. Maybe nothing. Maybe just a chance. She leaned back in her chair, closing her eyes for a moment. I don't know if I can forgive him. You don't have to, Tyler said, but I need to figure things out for myself. I need to know who he really is. She nodded, her voice quiet. I understand. Over the next few days, Tyler started calling his father more often. They spoke about small things at first, weather, books, work, then slowly, deeper topics came. Regrets, childhood memories. The silence between them began to break. Meanwhile, Maria continued to improve. She still had bad days, but the good ones were starting to come more often. One afternoon, she baked muffins and surprised Tyler with them when he came home from work. "Just like old times," she said with a smile. He hugged her tightly. "You're getting stronger. Thanks to you," she replied. That night, Tyler received another message from his father. "Can we meet again? I'd like to bring something. For both of you." Tyler asked his mom. She was quiet for a while, then finally said, "Okay, but only for a few minutes." The next day, James arrived with a small wooden box in his hands. He looked nervous as he stepped into the house. It was the first time Maria had seen him in years. The air was heavy with silence. James spoke first. "I don't expect forgiveness, but I wanted you to have this." He opened the box. Inside were old photos. Their wedding, Tyler as a baby, a letter Maria had written long ago but never sent. "I kept these," James said. "Even after I left, they meant something. You meant something." Maria picked up one photo. Her eyes filled. With tears, she said nothing. Tyler watched both of them, wondering what would happen next. For the first time in years, all three of them were in the same room, and no one was shouting, no one was angry. There was pain, yes, but also something else. A small, quiet hope. Night after his father's visit, Tyler sat in his room, staring at the wooden box. He had looked through the old photos again, and each picture pulled up memories he didn't even know were still there. His father had seemed sincere, quiet, and broken in a way that was hard to ignore. But Tyler still didn't know if he should trust him. Outside, the rain tapped softly against the window. Inside, the house was silent. His mother had gone to bed early. She hadn't said much after James left, only that she needed time. Tyler couldn't blame her. The past was complicated, the pain still fresh. The next morning, Maria sat at the kitchen table, sipping tea. Tyler joined her. They didn't talk at first. Then she spoke without looking at him. "He kept the photos," she said. "All these years?" Tyler nodded. "Yeah, I didn't expect that." "Me neither," she whispered. "But it doesn't change the past." "No," Tyler agreed. "But maybe it helps the future." She glanced at him. "Do you think people really change?" He thought for a moment. "I think some do. If they want to, if they try." Later that day, Tyler went to the bookstore for his shift. He shelved new arrivals and helped customers like usual, but his mind kept drifting. When he got home, there was another letter waiting for him. This one had no name on the front, just his address. He opened it and read slowly. It was from his father again. "Tyler, thank you for letting me in, even a little. I know I have no right to ask for more, but there's something you deserve to know. The real reason I left wasn't just fear. It was illness. I was diagnosed with a mental health condition back then. I didn't understand it, and I didn't want to scare you or your mother. I thought leaving was safer, but I see now it was selfish. I've been getting treatment for years. I'm better now, more stable. I'm not perfect, but I want to be present. I hope this doesn't push you away again. I just wanted to tell you the truth. James." Tyler read the letter twice, then a third time. His hands felt cold. He had always believed his father ran away, because he didn't care. But this was different. This was something Tyler hadn't imagined. That evening, he told his mother. She sat in silence, listening carefully. Her face changed as he read the letter aloud. When he finished, she took a deep breath. "He should have told us," she said. "We could have helped." "He didn't know how," Tyler said. "He thought he was protecting us." She nodded, slowly, and maybe in his own way, he thought he was, but he still left us to suffer alone. "He wants to come back," Tyler said. "Not to live here, but to be part of our lives." Maria didn't respond. She looked out the window, watching the wind move through the trees. A few days passed. Then something unexpected happened. Tyler came home to find his mother sitting with a notebook open. She was writing a letter. She looked up and said, "It's for him. I'm not ready to talk face to face, but I want to say a few things." Tyler smiled gently. "I think that's a good start." He mailed the letter the next day. A week later, another arrived in return. Slowly, without planning it, they started exchanging letters. Words flowed easier on paper. Maria wrote about her fears, her anger, and her disappointment. James wrote about guilt, loneliness, and therapy. Tyler watched as two people who had once shared a life tried to understand each other again. Meanwhile, his mother's health was getting better. She had more energy, and the doctor said the treatments were working well. One afternoon, she surprised Tyler by suggesting a short walk outside. They hadn't done that in months. As they walked slowly through the neighborhood, she held his arm for balance. "I never thought I'd be strong enough again," she said. Tyler looked at her, proud. "You never gave up. That's why you're here." She smiled. "No, that's because of you." Tyler felt something warm in his chest. They walked past the park, past old houses, past memories. And for the first time in a long time, Maria didn't feel weak. She felt alive. That night, Tyler received a phone call from his father. "I read her last letter," James said. "It meant a lot. I never expected her to forgive me, but hearing her words, it gave me hope." Tyler sat on the porch, phone in hand. "She's healing. Not just her body, her heart, too." James's voice cracked a little. "I know it's a lot to ask, but maybe one day, We could all sit down together, talk, no pressure, just talk. The house felt different now, lighter, like something heavy had been lifted. Maria smiled more. She ate full meals. She even began humming softly while folding laundry, a sound Tyler hadn't heard in months. The letters between her and James continued. They didn't write every day, but when they did, the words were honest, sometimes painful, sometimes gentle. Tyler noticed that his mother no longer spoke about James with bitterness. Her tone had changed. It was softer now, like the anger had faded into tired understanding. One evening, she sat down beside Tyler on the couch and handed him a folded note. "I'm thinking about saying yes," she said. "To what?" he asked. "To meeting him. One time, in person, not to forgive, just to see him. Face to face?" Tyler looked at her, unsure how to feel. Part of him was happy. Another part was afraid. "Are you sure you're ready?" She nodded. "I think I need to see him, to look him in the eye. Maybe it'll help me let go of what's still inside." Tyler supported her decision. They agreed to meet in a quiet public place, a small garden near the hospital where Maria had her treatments. It was peaceful there, surrounded by flowers and quiet benches. On the day of the meeting, the weather was calm. The sun was out, the breeze gentle. Maria dressed simply but neatly. She looked strong. Tyler walked beside her as they reached the garden. James was already there, sitting on a bench, his hands folded in his lap. When he saw them, he stood up quickly, unsure whether to smile or stay still. Maria walked slowly, then stopped a few steps away. James looked at her, his eyes filled with emotion. "Thank you for coming," he said. She didn't answer right away. She studied his face. He looked older, tired, but sincere. After a long pause, she said, "I never thought I'd see you again." "I never thought I deserved to," he replied, "but I'm glad you're here." They sat on the bench, with Tyler nearby but giving them space. The conversation started slow. James apologized again. Maria listened quietly. Then she spoke about the nights she cried alone, the times she thought he'd come back but never did. James didn't defend himself. He just nodded and let her speak. When she finished, he said, "I failed both of you, but I never stopped loving you. I just didn't know how to show it." Maria looked down at her hands. "People who love don't disappear," she said, "but maybe people who are broken do." They sat in silence after that. The birds in the trees filled the gap. Then James reached into his pocket and pulled out a small object. It was an old necklace. "This belonged to your mother," he said. "She gave it to me before we got married. I've kept it all this time." He handed it to her. She took it slowly, her fingers brushing the metal. "You kept this?" she asked, surprised. "Yes," he said. "I kept everything that reminded me of you, and of him." Maria held the necklace for a moment, then placed it in her bag. "Thank you," she whispered. They didn't say goodbye with hugs. They didn't make big promises. But when they stood up, something between them had changed. Not healed, but changed. As they walked home, Maria said to Tyler, "I'm glad I saw him. It didn't fix everything, but it helped." Tyler smiled. "That's all we can ask for sometimes." The next few weeks passed peacefully. Maria's treatment continued. The doctor gave hopeful updates. Tyler's work at the bookstore became steadier, and the manager even offered him more hours. One afternoon, while organizing books, Tyler received a call. It was from the local community center. They were offering scholarships for people who had paused their education for personal reasons. Tyler listened carefully. "Would you be interested?" the woman asked. "Your name came up. Someone recommended you." He paused. "Who recommended me?" "A Mrs. Ray," the woman said. Tyler smiled. He remembered her kindness. After the call, he went home and told his mom. She looked at him with proud eyes. "You should go," she said. "It's your time now, but I can't leave you alone," Tyler replied. "I'm okay now," she said firmly. "Stronger than I've been in months. And your father, he can help if I need anything." Tyler looked at her, surprised. "You'd ask him for help?" She nodded. "I still don't trust him completely, but I see that he's trying. And that means something." Later that night, Tyler stood in his room holding the new letter of opportunity, a second chance. Not the same college, not the same city, but it was something. It was hope. He thought about everything that had happened. The moment his mom collapsed, the night he found the hospital reports. Giving up his dream, the first letter from his father, and now this. Life had twisted and turned in ways he couldn't have predicted, but maybe that's how real life worked, full of pain, full of beauty, and full of unexpected beginnings. He sat down at his desk and began filling out the application. His hands didn't shake this time. There was fear, yes, but also peace, a sense that maybe everything they went through had led to this moment. As he wrote, his mother walked in and placed a cup of tea beside him. She kissed the top of his head and whispered, "I'm proud of you, Tyler. You've given me everything. Now it's time to take something back." He looked up at her and smiled. "I will, Mom, I promise." The morning Tyler submitted his application. The sky was clear, and the air felt fresh. It was one of those days that seemed ordinary on the outside but held something quietly powerful inside. He walked to the post office with the envelope in his hand, thinking about how far they had come. Just a few months ago, he was ready to give up everything. And now, here he was, reaching for it again, not out of selfishness, but because the one person he loved most had given him the strength to try. As he dropped the envelope into the mailbox, he felt something lift from his chest. Not everything was certain. He didn't know if he'd be accepted. He didn't know how he'd manage classes, work, and caring for his mom, but for the first time, he believed it was possible. When he got home, his mother was sitting on the porch, a blanket around her shoulders and a small radio playing an old love song. She looked peaceful. "Did you send it?" she asked without looking up. "Yeah," Tyler said. "It's done." She smiled. "Good. I've been waiting for you to take that step." Tyler sat beside her, and they listened to the music for a while without talking. After a few minutes, she spoke again. "Your father called this morning. He asked how you were. I told him you were brave, that you were becoming someone stronger than both of us." Tyler didn't reply right away. He simply nodded. He was still learning how to feel about his father. There were good days and days full of doubt, but he no longer felt the same weight of anger, and that was progress. That afternoon, he returned to work at the bookstore. While placing books on a shelf, he found a copy of a novel he used to love as a kid. It was about a boy who lost everything but still found the strength to rise. He flipped through its pages and smiled. Stories had always helped him make sense of life. Maybe one day he would write his own. That evening, a small letter arrived in the mailbox. It wasn't from the school or the clinic. It was from James. Tyler opened it in his room. The handwriting was familiar now. "Dear Tyler, I heard you applied. I just wanted to say how proud I am of you. I know I haven't earned the right to say that, but I'll say it anyway. Watching you take care of your mother, watching you rise. Above all, the pain, I can't describe what it means to me. You've already done more with your life than I ever did with mine. No matter what happens next, know that I'm here, not to guide you, just to be nearby if you ever need anything. Love, James." Tyler folded the letter and placed it in the same drawer with the others. He stared at them for a moment. So many words, so many emotions, but they all meant one thing: change. That night, Tyler couldn't sleep. He got up quietly and walked outside. The sky was full of stars. The wind was soft. He sat on the porch steps and thought about the journey, the sacrifices, the heartbreak, the small joys, the silent courage. Suddenly, the front door opened. His mom stepped out in her robe, holding 2 cups of tea. "Thought you might be awake," she said. Tyler smiled and took a cup. They sat together, side by side, like they had done so many times before. "Whatever happens next," she said, "you're ready? You've already proved it." Tyler looked at her, his eyes gentle. "Only because of you." She shook her head. "No, because you chose to love, to fight, to stay when it was easier to run. That strength was yours." He didn't argue. He just leaned his head on her shoulder. The next week, a letter arrived from the community college. Tyler stood in the hallway holding it, afraid to open it. His mother stood beside him, her hand on his arm. "No matter what it says, I'm proud of you," she whispered. He nodded and opened it slowly. As he read, his eyes widened. "They accepted me," he said quietly. "They really accepted me." Maria hugged him tightly. "I knew they would." Tyler felt tears in his eyes, but he didn't wipe them away. He let them fall, because they weren't tears of pain. They were something else: relief, joy, healing. Later that night, he called his father. "I got in," he said. James was silent for a moment. Then his voice came through the phone, full of emotion. "You deserve this. Tyler, I hope this is just the beginning." "It is," Tyler replied, "for all of us." As summer turned into fall, Tyler started classes. It wasn't easy. He had to manage his time carefully, working at the bookstore and helping his mom, but he did it. Day by day, step by step. His mother continued to heal, slowly but surely.